my RIR method, which is recognize, interrupt, reframe. So it's recognize when you're having those negative, disempowering thoughts. Like, so you're really paying attention. Are you noticing that you're always saying like, I'm not good at the numbers. I can't do this. Interrupt it. Take a breath. Is this truth? Right? And then reframe it with something more positive, more prosperous. And it could just be like, every day I trust myself more and more with money. This is the biggest thing. And I think this is where we go wrong. It's not just the words. It's not just a mantra and affirmation.
Welcome to Life Changing Money, a podcast all about one of the most taboo topics in the world, money. I'm your host, Barbara Strehand, and we're going behind the scenes on business owners' journeys to money, success, and wealth. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Life Changing Money. We are in New York City right now, and I'm so excited to have my friend Ruchi, rhymes with Gucci, on the podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and have you in my city.
We are in New York City right now, so thank you for having me in your town.
Thank you for being in my town.
You guys probably saw on my social media, but Ruchi was so nice and sent me oracle cards.
Right.
And it was quite the battle to get them. We somehow wrote the wrong address, and like a neighbor got them, and he was like old and didn't know what to do with them. So he returned them to Amazon. And then like finally I got them, and they're beautiful. So thank you.
Have you been using them?
Yes, I've been using them. And like they're so spot on.
Aren't they amazing?
How did you get started with pulling cards?
One of my really good friends was into tarot, and she used to do those with me, and I learned them. And then, one of my clients who's in media did a reel with one deck, and then her and I talked about it. And I was like, I'm going to get myself that same deck. And now I love them. I use them with my team. We do them in team meetings with clients, for myself. So now I'm kind of known in all my friend groups. And I have like 20 different oracle card decks now.
And when we were chatting, because I had a tarot deck, and you were like, oh, you need an oracle deck. So what's like the difference?
The oracles, I think, are just simpler. Like you can kind of look at an oracle and know what the message is without even like reading about it. I feel like the tarot kind of are more storytelling, whereas the way I use the oracle is really like tapping into your intuition. A lot of us, we're in the go, 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 do, 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 us entrepreneurs and, busy people, right? And we don't often just slow down and stop and listen to our intuition. So the oracle card is a way just to pause, breathe, and just be like, what message do I need to hear? And I would say like 19 out of 20 times, it is so spot on. I'll have clients say, I literally just had that conversation with my husband last night, or I had a healing session with my acupuncturist this morning, or my therapist this morning, and we just talked about the same thing. And I actually just came from a client meeting now, and we did one, and it was so spot on.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you don't typically see people in like the financial industry using oracle cards. So I love that. Tell us how Watch Her Prosper started.
So I was on Wall Street for many years, and I felt totally unsatisfied. I was in kind of doing the corporate thing, climbing the ladder, getting promoted, getting paid well, building a team. Ultimately, I was a hedge fund CFO on Wall Street. And I just never really felt fully satisfied. I was immersing myself in all the human pieces, like the women's network. I was, in a leadership role there. I was a mentor. I was a mentee. And those were the days I was feeling really satisfied. So I ultimately tried a gig in HR. In the corporate world. And it was terrible. Like I cried every day at my desk. I was like, what am I doing here? So I'd be in my office, just really unhappy. I ultimately left. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I hired this incredible coach.
So you left before you knew what you were doing next?
I left before.
Okay.
So I, especially coming from corporate, like control type A kind of person, I would say I'm a recovering type A now. And, I had no idea. So I was totally scared, and I wanted to know what was next. And I had this incredible coach who opened me up to spirituality and talking about the universe. And she's the one, when I was in a session with her and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm so like, what's next? And
Yeah.
she's like, maybe it's okay not to know. Like, how about if you can reframe this and see this as a gift, this gift of time, be open to the messages from the universe. And that's exactly what I did. I started to listen to the messages, and there were all these incredible women that were entrepreneurs that had wonderful education, that started businesses, so talented. But I kept hearing all the stories like, I'm not good at the numbers or avoiding them. And I realized I can do this work. Like, I can help people using my financial background. And I always wanted to be a therapist. So now a lot of our clients call me their financial therapist, which is so fun.
I love that. When you left, were you married at the time?
I was married at the time.
How did that conversation look like with your spouse?
Yeah, he was really cool about it until he wasn't. He was really cool about it until he wasn't. At first, he's like, maybe you don't need to go back to work. Maybe you just let me support us. And I was like, that sounded really appealing at the time. I'm not going to lie. But I also really didn't know how I identified without work. Like, I remember being in my son's preschool, that little room, like the first few days of school that you just have to wait in when they're acclimating. I remember somebody asking me, like, what do you do? And I was like, I don't know what I do. Like, who am I? Anyways, my husband was really great about it. And I think about a year and a half in, he's like, what are you going to do? And that was my push, though. So I had this incredible friend who was one of those women who had all the stories and was avoiding her numbers. She had been in business, I think it was like 10 years at the time. She'd never raised her rates. She wasn't on an accounting system. She hadn't separated her business and personal finances. So she really wasn't making decisions from a place of knowing and understanding, and wasn't confident in the numbers piece.
Yeah.
So I started to work with her and saw really great results. She felt really safe. She cried a lot. She raised her rates, though. She got really comfortable. So she started saying, wow, this is so incredible. Like, I feel like I love my business again. I feel like I have support. I feel like I have a partner. And she started telling other women about me.
Yeah.
And the first woman that said to her, I feel like I need a Ruchi in my life. And so I had a consult with her. It was so good. I had a consult with her. I learned about what was going on for her, the financial woes. And, we needed to make a plan for her debt, raise her rates, similar stories. And while we were in the consult, she got tears in her eyes and she said, I feel like an angel sent you.
Oh.
And that is how I knew. Like, I knew this is what I'm meant to do.
Do you see common money blocks with women entrepreneurs that might be different than male entrepreneurs?
Very much so. I mean, first of all, we don't even know our blocks, right? Like, so much of it is subconscious. 95% of how we show up is subconscious beliefs, is how we grew up, the stories. So I see things like, for example, this woman I spoke to, she is a single mom and she was really struggling to make money. And we got deep into what was going on. And what she said to me was, I was raised by a single mom who was never home, who would always tell me, you have to work really hard, you have to hustle to make money, and I need to be at work. And that's why I'm not here. And she did not want that for her child. So she didn't raise her rates. She didn't allow herself to receive money with ease and without hustle, because she didn't want to be like her mom and repeat that story for her child. So she was way undercharging because she equated like raising her rates with making more and not being present. So there's all these stories we carry with us. And I think also for women, like, money is really personal. Like, it's not just a number. It's like, how do we provide for ourselves, for our loved ones, our futures? There's emotion tied to it. And I mean, I think we have a lot of judgment. Not only are we worried that others will judge us, but we have so much judgment about ourselves, our bank balances that we carry with us. So we feel that shame. And if we're not in a safe space, like working with us at Watch Her Prosper, we really pride ourselves in creating this beautiful, sacred, safe space for clients to feel open, to feel like they can talk about their numbers without judgment. And, not everyone does that. Not everyone, certainly in the financial space, does that.
I feel like everyone has like a money, I don't even know what to call it. Not a lie, but like something they're hiding with money, or like too afraid to talk about.
A money story, money shame, for sure. There is. I don't always think that they know it, though, either. I think it's when we start to dig in. So I'll work with clients, for example, we'll put in all these incredible strategies to save for taxes, like all the stuff that you do with your clients, right? And so we have all these strategies in place. We raise their weights. We understand what do they need to make to live that most beautiful, prosperous life. That's a really big thing, to align the personal and business goals, create the saving strategies. And what happens? They make the money. Like I've seen this. Make the money, spend, make the money, spend. Where's all the money going? And then like one client was saying, my father used to weaponize money. So I don't feel safe holding it. Like, so she would just like make it, spend it, make it, spend it. And then we get back into the same boat. So it's not until we start to, the awareness is key, is what I'd say. The awareness is how we can make change. So I speak a lot with women and with my clients about sort of like reframing that. So I have my own like trademark methodology, which is my RIR method, which is recognize, interrupt, reframe. So it's recognize when you're having those negative, disempowering thoughts. Like, so you're really paying attention. Are you noticing that you're always saying like, I'm not good at the numbers. I can't do this. Interrupt it. Take a breath. Is this truth? Right. And then reframe it with something more positive, more prosperous. And it could just be like every day I trust myself more and more with money. It could be, yeah, I love that one. And also it's safe to receive money with ease, you know, sort of that you get that concept. But this is the biggest thing. And I think this is where we go wrong. It's not just the words. It's not just a mantra and affirmation. If you do that without the feeling in your body, nothing changes. So really, ultimately, what does it feel like to feel abundant in your body? Like to feel at ease, to allow receivership. How does it feel? Like you almost sort of feel, many people will say they feel like a sense of calm, a sense of ease, a sense of trust.
Well, even when you said that affirmation, you like paused and you were like you were feeling it.
Yeah.
Not just saying it. Any of us can say it.
I get chills like when I literally like you feel different. And that tool, like the RIR method, you can take with you anywhere. Like if you're running around all the time and I hate the O word, overwhelmed, right? I don't say it because I'm like calling it in.
What do you say instead?
I say, I am time. I am ease. Everything happens in the perfect time. And I close my eyes and then I just like allow things to flow. Even coming here, it said 11:31 in the Uber. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be late. I'm just trusting the universe is going to get me there on time because I'm a professional and I never want to be late, right? And I got here at 11:24.
Amazing.
And I was early. And then also going back to trust. Okay, if I were late, I have to trust there was a reason. Maybe it kept me safe from something. Maybe it allowed me an experience that I never would have experienced otherwise. So a lot of everything, if you notice, goes back to trust, self-trust. Everything does. Everything I said, trust in myself, trust in the universe.
Well, even like if I'm running late somewhere, I'm always like, well, maybe I missed an accident. And if I were on time, something would have changed. And so I'm always like, oh, it's okay.
True. It's better because. And we don't always know the because. We don't always know. Sometimes we do. We run into someone that we haven't seen in 20 years that we never would have seen.
Yeah.
But sometimes we might have, as you say, avoided an accident. We don't know.
You mentioned some money blocks, like with receiving money. A lot of our clients are already making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I hear from them, and I went through this too as I was making more money, was like, oh, it feels weird to even have that much in my bank account. So you described the person like getting rid of it because they didn't like having it or they weaponized it. Or a lot of our clients will say like, the more money I have, the more likely I'm going to have it taken away or get sued or someone will come after me. So like, how do those clients reframe?
It's interesting because when you put it out there, like the universe is a mirror. What you put out is what you're getting back. So you want to reframe in a positive way. And I don't mean I won't get sued because now you're bringing attention to the word sued. You just be like something around protection, something around what you actually want is the key. that's how you want to reframe. What is it you want? And then, so in that example, like somebody who's really always nervous about getting sued, you're putting attention out there. You're calling in the word sued, right? So how about instead like, wow, I make money with ease. I'm always guided and protected. Just something super simple. It doesn't have to be complicated.
So when you're working with a lot of these female entrepreneurs, I'm assuming some of them are married or have spouses or a husband. And so how do you handle the different dynamics with couples?
It's so fun. It's so fun. So we are doing, in many cases, the bookkeeping and financial guidance, getting them ready for tax time. So we many times will have both the, husband and wife join the meeting, or if the female client is an entrepreneur and we're doing her business books and then doing their personal books, which we do a lot because of that alignment, a lot of times the spouse will join. And it's great because we just leave it. It's sort of therapy, but I'm not a therapist.
Couples
so
therapy.
I have to like put the asterisk because I know that's a licensed field, right? But yeah, it is. And it's so cool to watch the questions that you ask, how they communicate with each other. Like one said, oh, I didn't know that was something that was upsetting you, or, oh, I didn't know you wanted to do that. So you sort of help facilitate a really beautiful conversation. And I think they feel like they're heard. It's things that they wouldn't usually maybe sit down and talk about. So it's really powerful to watch.
We always ask our clients to have a money date with their spouse.
Love that. Yeah.
And we do it every Friday. Probably most of our clients do not do that every Friday because like who wants to spend their Fridays doing that?
Yeah.
But I like talking about money, as probably you do.
Of course.
As well. And so what are some things that spouses or couples can talk about in a money date?
I think one thing is really like how you're splitting the expenses is a big thing, right? Like sometimes people just split half. Some just say, you pay for this, you pay for that. Some do it based on like the income, like ratios. So I think that's really key. But the bigger thing, and obviously their goals, like what do they both want out of life? What makes them really happy? And when they're not aligned, what can they feel like they're okay letting go of? In terms of like compromise, if they have to make financial decisions, like what's a I won't give this up, and what's something that's like I can let go of. But I think the bigger thing too is that financial trauma and the belief system, because you're both coming from different households that had, their own issues. Like one may come from a household that really just was really comfortable financially, maybe doesn't even have a lot of like financial, I'll say hangups, if you will. And then one may come from a home where the parents were always fighting about money. And so they may not feel like as comfortable around money, or they might not trust that there's going to be money. They come up. So understanding the past and the history, and that's a harder conversation because most people, as you know, right, are focused on the practical, tactical, and not the stories that they're bringing with them. So I think that's something that's missed.
Yeah. Whenever we're hosting events or retreats, like people think that they're coming for the strategy.
Yeah.
And then I like mess them up with the mindset and the woo-woo things that they didn't know they needed.
Yeah.
But I couldn't even like market that because they wouldn't even like, first they'd think it's weird. And then second, they would be like, I'm not doing that. And
totally.
So yeah, you have to bring like the mindset work in with the strategy.
It's same thing with the numbers, right? Doing all the practical, tactical that we all do at both of our companies, but without the mindset piece, it's not as effective.
Yeah. So as you were growing your business, so you went from Wall Street to starting Watch Her Prosper. And as your income was growing and your business was getting bigger, what were some like investments that you wanted to make?
I think hiring the right team, right? Getting the right support for yourself as CEO so you can be CEO and not be in the weeds is really key. One of my favorite hires was my COO, who like has helped create process and document our SOPs, right? Our standard operating procedures. That's been probably one of my favorite. And then I also really believe in hiring support and coaches. I tend to every 2 or 3 years hire the next coach as I'm up leveling and scaling. I think that's also really key.
Yeah. Coaches need coaches.
Coaches need coaches. Exactly. Because we are growing too along with our clients. I always say I'm a student of my own work. So don't think that I don't, walk the walk, talk the talk.
What was the worst day in business ownership?
Well, worst and best in a way, and I'll explain. About 1.5 years ago, we had a really traumatic experience in our family, health-wise, in my immediate family, and it felt like the worst day, maybe of my life, not only in business, but then what was amazing is how supported I felt with my team, with the clients. One of the best things about what we do about entrepreneurship is that freedom and the flexibility, and we can create the freedom. Sometimes we don't, and that's something that's self-imposed. But I think the worst day was also me in gratitude that I could sort of release myself for a few weeks and still keep everything running and be present when I just needed to, but not as much as I was before that. Yeah.
That's a good reframe.
Yeah, I do that. I tend to do that.
Yeah. What are some of your next business goals?
Expanding where I put my money. So I recently became a venture capital investor. That was really fun. I love giving back. So I have multiple initiatives. I'm on 2 nonprofit boards, plus I'm very active with another 1 or 2 charities in different ways. And I think I'm just trying to look for really cool, interesting new opportunities where I can invest in other women in different ways that are just out of the ordinary. So I'm really open to that. And the other thing that's super cool, something that for me personally, is I just started doing one-to-one coaching, because people that come into my company aren't necessarily working with me directly, right? They have a financial guide and they have a bookkeeper assigned to them that they're getting incredible support from. But I also love to coach and do this mindset work. So I just created some offerings so people can work directly with me. And I'm doing these incredible redefining prosperity workshops, because what I'm teaching is about my 3 pillars of redefining prosperity, which are well-being, spirituality, and healthy relationships with people and money, and really helping people define their own prosperous life in those areas, and then helping them stay accountable. So I've been doing these workshops that help women to really define their most prosperous life. And we do a guided visualization and help them create a vision. It's really fun.
I love that. I started offering one-on-one again too, because I grew a huge team and, we have 30 employees. And then I was okay, I'm kind of bored. I want to work with clients again, because I wasn't working with any clients. And so I was I think I'll create a VIP package where people can work with me again. So it's funny how it always comes full circle. It's we start our business and then we're too busy. So we build the team and then we build the team and we're wait, actually, I do want to work with clients. And then it comes back around.
It's true. It's so fulfilling, right?
Yeah. With your charity work and the different companies that you want to work with, we love DAFs. Do you know foundations? Okay. So if you ever wanted to create a foundation for yourself, you can, let's say you wanted to donate $100,000, let's say.
Donor advised funds. When you said DAFs, I was oh, yeah. Yes. So you can use that.
And let's say you wanted to donate $100,000 this year. Or I guess I'll backtrack. Let's say you needed $100,000 of a tax write-off, period. Doesn't matter what it comes from. And so before the end of the year, you could put $100,000 into your donor advised fund. Yeah. And that doesn't mean you have to donate it yet, because maybe the big event you want to donate to is next year, or you don't know what charity you want it to go to, or you want to save it up
to buy like for us, we have a donor advised fund and a foundation. We're going to buy like a big property where we can help veterans on, but obviously that costs a lot of money. Yeah. So each year we put like a certain amount away in and we save it up until we have it all. But the $100K that you put in is still a charitable deduction this year, even though you haven't really donated it yet.
I love that.
So it's a really cool strategy.
And I heard, and maybe you can be a myth buster, I heard that if you're a lot of times, like I may donate to a gala table and I know part of it is deductible and part of it isn't. I had heard you can't use the DAF money for like sponsorships like that.
That you
is
cannot.
That a myth? Yeah.
You can't use it for like in-kind donation. So like it would have to be for cash. But the nice thing with a DAF is you only have to give away 5% of it each year. So that $100K you put in this year, you'd only have to donate 5,000 of it to a charity before the end of the year. And then you want to make sure that 95,000 that's left is like invested. Yeah. So it's growing. So then next year, maybe it grew to like 110.
Okay.
So then next year you just have to give 5% away again.
And the growth isn't taxable.
No.
Right? I mean, it's kind of like a 529 in a way ish, but I know it's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. And I'm super interested in talking to you about that, like, and that versus a foundation. And also like, I'm really interested. I have this, I don't want to say it's a pipe dream. It'll happen. I have an idea that I really would love to create like a grant or scholarship type of program to help other women entrepreneurs. And I'd love to know how to set that up. So I think it would be cool to talk about that.
Yeah, that would be good through a foundation.
Yeah,
for sure. But I love the grants and scholarships for like female business owners. You mentioned being prosperous and prosperity a lot. Yeah. What is like your definition?
So, I talk about the feeling, right? So for me, it's not exactly about like the everyday, but it's about the feeling. Like for me, living prosperously means that I'm at ease, that I'm at peace, and that I have a lot of joy in my life. So it's like aligning my decisions and how I live with those three feelings. So it's really about that. So I can be more specific. Like, for example, we have a place like a lake house that we love to go to. So being there, I feel all of those things, right? We have like beautiful family memories. We host, we have parties. Like I'm actually going to host my nephew's graduation party and my aunt's birthday party at the same time this weekend. So I love that. I get to have joyful memories, feel at peace when I'm with my family, be by the water. And that allows me to feel at ease. So that, and we love to travel and like create memories. So freedom allows all of it.
Yeah. I normally ask like your definition of life-changing money, but prosperity could be interchanged with that.
I think to me, prosperity can be life-changing money, and feeling safe to receive that and knowing that it's okay to have life-changing money because it's not only changing our lives. Like think about what your life-changing money is doing for the world, for the economy, for others, right? Like for your team, if you want to travel, like you're employing the people at the hotels and the resorts and the airlines. Like it spreads. It's just energy.
Tell our business owners listening one of your favorite like money books.
That's a tough one. That's the hardest question you asked me.
Or just name any book.
I mean, I'm in the middle. I have to say like the Let Them theory. It's like trending, but I'm in the middle of it. I mean, it's so. I
don't love it.
You don't love it?
I don't love it. I'm in the middle of the Audible. I think maybe I just don't like her voice.
It could be you don't like her voice. I mean.
But the concept, I understand.
The concept is such an incredible concept because ultimately, and we can like tie it back to money and what's going on in the world, right? And entrepreneurs, everyone, right? Like no matter what's going on external to you, like you can still be your inner temple and you get to choose how you respond to things, to others, to events. I mean, that is a huge lesson. So if you can just take that with you versus like the book itself. But I also, me, like Oracle cards. I love Rebecca Campbell, Oracle cards. Those are great starter cards. Like the Work Your Light, anyone who's interested in playing, that's the one I sent you. And that's just the beginning. There's a white light Oracle I love. It's Atlanta Fairchild, I think. So that would be in place of a book.
Great.
Yeah.
So where can everyone find you?
So Instagram is so fun at Watch Her Prosper. 2 H's, Watch Her Prosper. That's a big, that's something people do all the time. Our website, watchherprosper.com. There you can download our free Redefining Prosperity workbook. There's a pop-up there. If you don't see that, you can go to iwanttoprosper.com and download it there. That's just a good way to dive into the pillars. We didn't get a lot into that, but those of you that want to think more about your own prosperous life and your mindset.
And you all should.
Of course.
So definitely go to her website and check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. So fun.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life Changing Money. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would love if you left a review and shared it with your friends. See you next time.